Why do we suffer? A question that I've tried to answer my whole life. I have never truly come to an answer, but over time, fragments of answers and truths have come to me. I first thought, well, is it because of others? Is it other people actively seeking my destruction, my pain? People who want to punish me? And is it because of people of relation to me? Is it because of my parents or grandparents or their parents before them? Is it because of this long chain of events that have some small but not insignificant connection to me that has brought about my suffering? And this, I have concluded, is not true. For you can have no relationships. Take an orphan. Take someone who's completely isolated. Their suffering will be the greatest out of anyone. Therefore, relationship to common man cannot be the answer to my pain. Then I thought, well, randomness. Maybe it was randomness, the way of the world, the human condition. But this, too, I found to be incomplete, for randomness cannot be a reason, for it in itself is reasonless. It has no way, no means, no will. It simply is what happens. So I came to the conclusion suffering is for betterment of oneself. Suffering is to improve one's own character, one's own contentment in life. Suffering looks into the inward body and soul and forges it through fire, taken like in a smith. When you purify gold, to purify it, you must put it through extreme circumstances. Temperature is not naturally found on surfaces other than volcanoes under extreme intense pressures. The rarest things are forged under pressure and heat, much like a strong man is forged under much suffering and self-reflection into that suffering. If a man simply suffers and accepts his fate, not willing to learn from it, he has needlessly suffered, and that is the saddest fate which I have seen in this world. Why has this happened to me? Is there a reason? Maybe, maybe not. Regardless of that answer, you must look and see what you can do with it. Give it a reason. If you cannot come up with one, simply say, this was to improve myself. Many people will listen to this. Some from blessed families, some from suffered relations. Regardless, you can always ask, how can I improve myself based on the circumstances by which I was born into, by which I was put into, by which I chose to go into? How can I constantly improve myself? For that is the purpose of suffering, after all. You cannot simply accept suffering as needless. For when that happens, then you will truly suffer. The times by which I have improved myself, my character, my integrity, all my traits, have decreased my negative traits, like impatience, hatred. I have, during which a great time of suffering has occurred. I have many things I regret doing, which have brought about much suffering, but I do not regret learning from those mistakes so that I cannot make that mistake again. I make sure that I do not repeat my actions when it comes to suffering. I will go through a trial because of randomness, because of my own ignorance, but I will not go through that trial a second time, and I will do everything within my power to spread that wisdom by which it has gone from me to you. I have created these videos and tapes recording myself to help alleviate suffering from many, to help bring hope to others. Wisdom can only be taken from you when you let it. Wisdom is forged by suffering. Wisdom is seen by the observers of those who suffer and by the ones who suffer themselves, if they are willing to learn. You can learn from my suffering. You can learn from other suffering. You can learn from your own suffering. Suffering is the pressure by which wisdom can be formed, which is what diamonds are formed at. Great pressure, great suffering brings about great wisdom to those who want to obtain it. Do not let the opportunities pass by. Do not seek suffering, but know that you will suffer in this world, for that is what this world is. But know that you are not suffering meaninglessly. Know that there is purpose. You can bring yourself that purpose, and that purpose is wisdom.